Good afternoon. This is Ron Brown. It is Friday afternoon, the 3rd of January, 2025. I'd like to wish everybody a happy and prosperous new year. I am in the process of modifying my add on, so I haven't, it isn't ready yet, but I'm working on it and I'm going to cover a few things in this video that I'm working on. And I hope to get a lot of work done this weekend and get it out soon. But in the meantime, just continue to use the October add-on, which you've been using now for 3 months. Okay, as always, any stock index or ETF mentioned in this presentation is not a recommendation to buy or sell. All trading strategies are used at your own risk. Now, what I'm attempting to do is to simplify the process. HCSI is, well, it gives us a lot of options to prospect and read the market and so on, and I'm just trying to come up with a better process. And if any of you have suggestions for me, just send me an email at ron@highgrowthstock and we can discuss it. Anyway, I have my warehouse view here in a weekly chart and a daily chart right here. And today's been a very positive market day after a extremely volatile day yesterday. Now, this is the way the market ended yesterday. This is my I'm right here in the top-down analysis. I'm rearranging these folders too. I put this one with my name on it at the top, and then I have top-down market analysis, top-down process views for ETF, and then for the indexes. Like I said, I'm trying to simplify this so it makes more sense. And then these are my daily scans. I'm going to get rid of some of these. I'm working on that now. I just haven't got to where I want to be. And then when this is closed, I've moved the category trades down below my name here. Here's the end of day scans, the intraday scans, and then strong fundamentals so far. And I may have some other category trades. Not sure yet, but I'll show you what I have so far. So I'm going to go back up here and I'll just go to the top down views, end of day. And like I said, this is the way the market ended yesterday. You can see the Bitcoin Trust was up the most. The VIX, the UVXY was up 3.3%. It was a wild day yesterday, like I said, and there was the premiums were getting bid up in the options. Here's silver, oil, and energy stocks have been moving up, and metals and mining stocks also, and the gold spider. So these were at the top of the list yesterday, and then you can see what was down. A lot of the sectors were down. Now let's look at it today. I'm just going to drop down to the intraday version of this. And by the way, this market insight is under my major market indexes. Under my market analysis user groups. And the reason I named this and put it at the top of the list is because it gives us a really good look at what's happening in the market, a good cross section. From commodities, oil, gold, and all the spider groups are in here too. So I'm going to click back to the warehouse view, and here's the intraday. I'm sorted on raw combo. You can see that the consumer discretionary group is at the top of the list, XLY. So that's where the strength is, followed by the QQQ, or the NASDAQ 100 ETF, and then the technology sector. These are up 4.18, 8.35. That's the price change. I'm sorry. Here's what I want, the intraday percentage change: 1.89, 1.64, 1.52. So if I want to know what's happening in the consumer discretionary sector, the way I've set this up in my market analysis user groups is, I pointed this out before, but I'm using folder number 7 and 7A here. So I've added 7A. This has the actual spider sectors in it in this portion of it, but rather than clicking on that and then coming down here, I just added another one, spider sector stocks. So consumer discretionary, I can quickly just on 7A just drop down here and I can see where the strength is, and it's in Tesla today. Tesla's sold off hard, and since the market's up, it's there's a lot of movement into that stock, up 7.76% today. Now I'm going to bring it up here on the weekly. You can see what's happened on the weekly. It traded all the way down to about 375, and here it is on the daily chart over here. But notice the volume is pretty light on this. I'm going to make this full size, zoom in on it, and you can see the volume isn't quite up to the 90 period moving average. But the perception is now that this is a bargain, so a lot of that weighting in the indexes is for Tesla. So I just drop down here. It's very easy to do. And then if I want to go back up here to the Insight ETFs, here's the QQQ. If I want to see what's happening in the QQQ, I can just go down here, one folder to the major indexes, and click on NASDAQ 100 and see where the strength is there. And you can see that MicroStrategy, because of Bitcoin, is up 12.37% today. This is really a proxy for Bitcoin because they have so much money invested in Bitcoin. And then here is ARM, here's Tesla, PLTR, Palantir, I think that's how you pronounce it, is right here. And you can see the intraday range, but notice that the volume on all of these, the intraday volume is below average, except for Constellation Energy and I never could pronounce that, so I'm not going to try it. Anyway, I'm going to click on this, and you can see that there is a gap up with pocket pivot volume on here, the blue bars, 2 days in a row. So there's money flowing into this, into the NASDAQ 100. You can see that I'm still in the same view, top-down analysis, indexes, and ETFs, but I can quickly drop down to these other groups. Now I'm going to go back to Market Insight, and let's bring this down. I guess it's all the way down. And notice natural gas, which has been up dramatically over the past several weeks. Well, 16 days ago is when it crossed over the 3 and the 6. So just bring it up here. Look at this gap up the other day with the prediction of very cold weather, which is going to happen, by the way. But there was short covering here, I assume, and then profit taking after that big gap up. The crossover happened clear back here at this point. I don't think it went negative there. But it's selling off now. So those who got squeezed and those who chased, or if they're still holding, they're holding a loser. You can see what's happened with the UVXY today. It's down 7.08%. Gold is down today. The commodity index fund, the TLT, is down. And the mining stocks are down today, and the silver is actually positive, but not very. If you look at the intraday range, you can see that it's trading near the bottom of its intraday range. Now, as far as volume, notice that most of the volume is below the 90-day, except for the materials sector, the dollar. I don't know if those numbers are right or not, but they must be. And then the VIX and the natural gas, getting out of these and a slight pullback in the UUP. Now I'm going to go back up. I want to look at the XLK, the tech sector. And once again, all I have to do is drop down here, go to number 7, go to tech. It's sorted on the percentage price change 1 day. And you can see that Super Micro Computer, which was dropped from the NASDAQ 100, it is at the top of the list today, up 8.24%. I'm going to bring this up. Going to zoom out on this. And this stock was a glamour stock last year. Was it last year? And you can see it's fallen upon hard times. It's off its low, and it looks like it wants to go again. It is going a little bit today. See a no supply and no supply, and strength seen returning after a downtrend. But volume is very, very light. Now, I've added a couple of charts in my most used charts. And I have used the VPA. Well, I'll show you. I'm going to edit the view. Support and resistance lines. And I'm using 8 lines and a sensitivity of 2. In other words, it has to have a 2% change before one of these lines is established. And this is based upon the zigzag indicator. I'm going to edit the current view. I'm going to go up here. I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to leave this in here. I'm going to click the zigzag and put this on 2. And you can see the zigzag indicator. Whenever there's a 2% move, I should say a 2% move or more, it's going to reverse directions and draw one of the support or resistance lines. Now, if you want to learn about this, I'm not going to take the time in the video to do it. Just type in VPA and sort and support and resistance lines. Just click on this and you can read about how these work, or how it works. Also, if you do an alternate I and click on the last day, it's going to tell you where support and resistance lines are. They're drawn on the where they're drawn on the screen. I'm going to edit this current view, and I'm going to delete the zigzag. You can always add it back, or I may add it back later. What happened there? I guess I didn't delete it. I hit cancel. Okay, it's gone, but it's nice, and I should have done this long ago. I've used it occasionally, but it's nice to see where there is congestion and where there was support right there, and then a congestion area here where the next resistance is. And hopefully you'll find this useful. And if you don't like it, you can edit the current view, click on support and resistance, and just make these invisible. Now this is not, these things I'm showing you right now are not ready to go yet. They will be in the add-on, and hopefully I can get it done to a certain point this weekend where I want to go with it, and then I can modify it later on. Actually, I think I'll turn those back on. Edit current view, support and resistance. I like to use the dotted line, but you can use a regular line. And let me show you my settings. 8 lines with 2 sensitivity, 2%. I'm going to just flip through a few here. You can see the support and resistance lines. This one's actually breaking past resistance. Now it works on the right side. It doesn't go back in time. In other words, if I go back in time, notice that the lines are not drawn. So it gives us current, support, and resistance lines. Now if you have two charts up like I do here, I'm going to edit this if I can find it. Edit current view. And I'm going to click on weekly add indicator. Just type VPA, support and resistance lines. The default on here is 5, but I'm using 8 and 2. And then I'm going to put the dots on here. And now I've got support and resistance lines on both the daily chart and the weekly chart. So it's breaking out right here on the daily chart, but if you look at the weekly chart, you can see that there is some resistance up in this area. Now, of course, you can draw lines on here manually if you want to, but this is why not let the program calculate it for you? They're here. They may not be perfect, but it gives a feel for where the support and resistance lines are. Now, one more thing. I'm going to edit the current view. Let's just take this down to 4 lines on the weekly, see what that does. And you can see that this disappears. So that's why I'm using more lines rather than limiting myself to 4 or 5 lines. Go back to 8. Anyway, in the help file, just read about it if you are thinking or want to use this feature. Now, looking at this up here, there's 66 securities in here, and notice that the 3 crossing the 6 for these 66 securities, there are only 5 of them that have crossed over. That's how much of a correction we've had within this group. Now, of course, today, when the day's over, if this holds up, the comp is up 1.65%. And let's see what the Qs are up. 1.64%. Then a lot of these should shift to positive, or there should be some of them. Of course, during the day, you can get the contextual chart, my number 1 chart, and just if you click on these, well, okay, let's do the percentage price change. Let's look. No, it hasn't crossed over yet. I'll make this larger and zoom in with alternate 1. Very close to a crossover. This one, KLA 10 core, did cross over today. You can see this right here. There's a pocket pivot yesterday and a nice follow through today. This is a $660 stock though. ServiceNow, no. Inside day. This is also an inside day and it didn't cross over. So we'll see if there's follow through to this next week or not. But it's possible to just flip through these and see which ones are crossing over. And the other alternative is you could do a full update using the intraday data, and then this information would fill in automatically, but that's going to take you 5 or 6 minutes depending on the speed of your computer. I'm working on several other things, and I don't have time to go into them today, but when I get everything put together, hopefully over the weekend or next week at the latest, I'll put up a new add-on and go over some of the other things I've changed and my rearrangement and some other things that I've added. Thank you for listening and have a Happy New Year.